Is Benjamin Netanyahu dead? That is the question that sent shockwaves across the entire world on March 2nd, 2026. Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps fired ballistic missiles directly at the office of the Israeli Prime Minister. And then, they made a stunning declaration. Netanyahu's fate was, quote, shrouded in ambiguity. Social media exploded. Financial markets trembled. World leaders scrambled to get on the phone. But here is what actually happened and what it means for the future of the entire Middle East. Stay with me, because this story goes much deeper than one missile strike. To understand why Iran launched missiles at Netanyahu's office, we have to go back just a few days earlier. On February 28th, 2026, at 2:30 in the morning U.S., President Donald Trump released a video statement announcing that the United States and Israel had launched a massive coordinated strike on Iran. The targets? Iran's military sites, nuclear facilities, and government compounds in Tehran, Isfahan, Qom, Karaj, and Kermanshah. And the most significant target of all, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Khamenei, the man who had ruled Iran with an iron fist for over 35 years, was killed. Israel declared a nationwide state of emergency. Schools and workplaces were shut down. The Israeli defense minister called it a, quote, preemptive attack to remove threats to the state of Israel. Iran called it an act of war. And within hours, Tehran launched what it named Operation True Promise 4, hundreds of drones and ballistic missiles fired at Israel and at American military bases across the region, Qatar, Bahrain, the UAE, Kuwait, Iraq, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia. The Iran War of 2026 had officially begun. Now, on March 2nd, Iran escalated again. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps announced what they called the 10th wave of retaliatory strikes. And this time, the target was unmistakable. The IRGC released an official statement through the Fars news agency, stating that, and I am paraphrasing carefully here, Netanyahu's office and the headquarters of the Israeli Air Force commander had been struck in a targeted and surprise attack using Kheibar Shekan ballistic missiles. Let that sink in. Iran claimed it had hit the sitting prime minister's office directly. And then came the declaration that set off global panic. Iran's military spokesperson announced that Netanyahu's fate was, quote, shrouded in ambiguity. Immediately, social media erupted. Claims spread that Netanyahu had fled to Germany. Flight tracking data showed Israel's official aircraft, a specially equipped Boeing 767, had departed Israel, circled over the Mediterranean, and landed in Berlin. The speculation was everywhere. Had Israel's leader been assassinated? Had he escaped? Was the government in chaos? Within hours, Netanyahu's office issued a firm and direct denial. They called Iran's claims deliberate disinformation, labeling it fake news. A spokesperson confirmed the prime minister was safe, unharmed, and operating from a secure location. And crucially, Israeli authorities confirmed that on Sunday, March 1st, one day before the strike, Netanyahu had met with Israel's defense minister, the chief of staff, and the director of the Mossad in Tel Aviv. He was alive. He was working. And he was not in his office when the missiles hit. Israel also reported that while missiles had struck in the area, there were no injuries from the attack. Then, Netanyahu himself appeared on Fox News, his first public appearance after the strike, and sent a direct message to the world. He said, and I am paraphrasing, this operation in Iran will not be an endless war. It will be quick and decisive. It may take time, but it will not take years. And Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi confirmed he had personally spoken with Netanyahu by phone, discussing the situation, becoming one of the first world leaders to make direct contact with the Israeli Prime Minister during the crisis. Netanyahu was alive, but the war was far from over. Now let's talk about the weapon Iran used, because understanding it helps us understand just how serious this escalation is. The Kheibar Shekan missile, also written as Kheibar Shekan, was first unveiled by Iran in February 2022. The name itself is significant. Kheibar references a historic battle, and Shekan means breaker in Persian. It is Iran's declaration that this missile can pierce through Israel's defenses. Here's what makes it dangerous. First, it is a solid fuel, medium-range ballistic missile. That means it can be ready to launch in minutes, with no need for long fueling processes that could be detected by satellites. Second, its range is estimated between 1,450 and 2,000 kilometers, putting all of Israel well within reach from Iranian soil. Third, and most critically, it uses maneuverable reentry vehicles. That means as it descends toward its target, it can change direction, making it significantly harder for air defense systems like Israel's Arrow or the American Patriot to intercept. Iran possesses over 3,000 ballistic missiles in its arsenal, including the Sejal, Ahmad, Ghadr, Shahab-3, and the newer precision-guided platforms. Military analysts have noted that firing these in large waves puts massive strain on Israel's interceptor supply, forcing difficult decisions on which missiles to prioritize. Iran's missile program is not a bluff. It is one of the largest and most technically advanced in the Middle East. The attack on Netanyahu's office was not happening in isolation. This was part of a massive, multi-front conflict reshaping the entire region. While missiles rained down on Israel, Iran simultaneously attacked several Gulf countries. Saudi Arabia reported shooting down drones heading toward its massive Kheibar oil field and intercepted a ballistic missile aimed at Prince Sultan Air Base, which hosts American forces. In Dubai, explosions were heard and the government activated air defenses. Passengers at Dubai International Airport were rushed into underground train tunnels for shelter. A missile reportedly struck the helicopter landing pad inside the United States Embassy compound in Baghdad's heavily fortified Green Zone, the first reported strike there since the conflict began. Britain's military base on Cyprus was hit by an Iranian drone. And Iran forced the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical oil shipping lanes, sending global energy prices into chaos. Iran's President Pezeshkian appeared in a rushed video message, apologizing to neighboring countries for the attacks on them and calling for diplomatic solutions. But Iran's hardline judiciary chief made clear that the war strategy would not change. The IRGC, which answers to no one but the supreme leader and now has no supreme leader to answer to, appeared to be picking its own targets. This conflict raises questions that the world is desperate to answer. Question 1. Who leads Iran now? With Khamenei dead, a man who ruled Iran for 35 years, there is no clear successor. Trump publicly stated he found Khamenei's son unacceptable and even suggested the U.S. had a role in determining Iran's next leader. That statement alone sent diplomatic shockwaves across the world. Question 2. How long does this war last? Netanyahu has publicly promised it will be quick and decisive, not an endless conflict. But military historians know that few wars end on the timeline their leaders predict. With Iran still firing missiles in large ways and the IRGC operating with apparent autonomy, the path to a ceasefire is unclear. Question 3. Will other nations be drawn in? Gulf Arab allies have expressed frustration that the Trump administration did not give them adequate warning before launching strikes on Iran. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Kuwait, and others are now caught in the crossfire of a war they did not choose. How long they remain on the sidelines is an open question. Question 4. What about global markets and oil? With the Strait of Hormuz closed and oil facilities targeted, the global economy is already feeling the impact. Analysts warn this could drive oil prices to levels not seen in years. Here is what we know for certain today. Benjamin Netanyahu is alive. His office confirmed it. India's Prime Minister spoke with him directly. And Netanyahu himself appeared on television, sending a clear message to the world. Iran's missile strike on his office was a dramatic escalation, but it did not achieve what Tehran hoped it would. What it did do is confirm that this conflict, the 2026 Iran war, is unlike anything the Middle East has seen in decades. We are watching history unfold in real time. The killing of Khamenei, the missile strikes across 6 countries, the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, the question of who will lead Iran next. Every single development in the coming days matters, and we will be covering all of it. If you want to stay informed as this situation develops, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. And tell me in the comments, do you think this conflict can be resolved quickly, or are we looking at a long and dangerous war? I will read your responses. This has been your Global News Briefing. Stay informed. Stay safe. I will see you in the next video.